Hi guys, this week on my Instagram page, I asked you to tell me what you find most difficult about learning languages. I've received so many responses from you, and today I'm here to help you out. The first point comes from the Languages channel, who says non-existence of films dubbing. Yes, I have to agree this is slightly a problem for some languages, but the vast majority of languages do have good dubbing, and you can find films and series on streaming sites like Netflix, where you can watch it in almost any language. I have to admit there are some languages such as Polish and Russian that does not have very good dubbing because you can hear the English in the background. And for some languages that just don't have dubbing at all, well, then you can watch TV series and movies which are from that country and are already in that language. The next point comes from Marina, who says, getting mixed up when you change from one language to another. Yes, I also have this problem myself. It's normal. If you're speaking one language and you change to another, you're going to get mixed up. One thing I like to do is just take a small break after I've spoken one language and just try and start thinking in the other language, so I swap over. But I have to admit it's quite difficult to do this. Stevie asks, lack of structure. Using books or a teacher, you have a pre-made exercises and topics to cover. Tips? Well, I think you've answered your own question there. The solution is to have a textbook and a teacher, because those two things will give you the best structure you can get. If you're trying to learn a language yourself, you're going to have a lot of trouble because you don't have somebody to give you that structure. You don't have somebody to correct you. You don't have somebody to motivate you. So if you don't have a teacher already, I strongly suggest you get one. Marek says, grammar things that you must memorize and remembering vocabulary. When it comes to grammar, I simply work with a teacher. I can't teach myself the grammar, and I don't think many people can. It's a very difficult thing to get into your head. One thing I find much easier to learn is the vocabulary. All you have to do is to look around you and find things in your daily life and translate those words and write them down. I suggest you learn 10 words a day. You write it down on a bit of paper with the translation, and you keep repeating them through the day. And then you add more and more words every single day. And after about a month, you have hundreds of words that you can now use in your new target language. Nurai Kial says, speaking. Now, I can't believe this is a problem for you because, as you know yourself, you're a language learner just like I am, with a fantastic Instagram page, and anybody watching this should of course check it out. But if you're having problems speaking to native speakers, it's probably because you can't find native speakers in your area, or you're nervous to talk to them. My answer to that is simply, don't be scared. Don't be scared of making mistakes. Look at me. I'm on the internet every day speaking languages to millions of people, and I'm making mistakes everywhere, and there's comments telling me I am, and I don't care at all because I enjoy speaking, and you should do the same. Making sentences in the right order. Yes, different languages have different sentence structures, and it's quite difficult often to learn the structure in a new language. But again, I have to give the same advice. You need a teacher or a language partner that you're going to work with who will help you, who will correct you when you make this mistake and drill it into you. Otherwise, you'll start speaking, learn a bad sentence structure, and get into the habit of using the wrong sentence structure. For some languages, finding a good resource. Well, for most languages, there are good resources. For the top 20, 30 languages in the world, there are a lot of textbooks to learn languages. Now, I have to admit, for some of the more niche languages, there aren't good textbooks, but if you search online, you can often find some PDF which can help you out. And if you're looking for resources such as films or series or books, you just have to get on the internet and search. And it might take some time, but eventually you will find a resource. Grammar and declension in Russian, for example. Now, this goes back to the old grammar point of you needing someone to help you. I can speak Russian myself. I can speak many Slavic languages. I've learned languages with different declensions and grammar rules. And the simple answer is I could have never taught it to myself. I'm sure some people can teach themselves languages, but I've never been able to. You simply need somebody out there who's going to teach you this stuff. The right pronunciation of the words. I always have issues with pronunciation in English. Now, the first place to start is to listen to the language as much as possible. Just open your computer to YouTube and search for content in that language and listen to it and soak it up. And the second piece of advice I can give you is just go and talk to people and listen to how they speak. The more you speak their language, the more you'll pick up the pronunciation. And especially for English, this shouldn't be a problem because English is absolutely everywhere. Almost all the media is in English, and there are millions of English speakers around the world. So find an opportunity to talk to them and just throw yourself into it and don't be scared. Finding what to say. Well, this can be a problem in any language, but I would suggest that if you're learning a language, you don't have to say something smart. Just say anything. Speak absolute nonsense. Speak to yourself if you have to. As long as you're using words and the grammar that you're learning, make absolute nonsense sentence, just like Duolingo does, and practice. And with time, you will learn the language, and then you'll be able to say more intelligent things and be able to have serious conversations with people. Being consistent and also listening to native speakers speaking. Well, the first one is quite easy for me to answer. Consistency is not a problem. You just have to be determined. You have to be strict with yourself. Even when you don't want to study, you just give yourself the time and you say the next 10, 20 minutes, I'm going to study. And you don't give yourself that choice. And you do it on a daily basis. And when it becomes a habit, it will become much easier. Speaking to native speakers is quite difficult, but listening to native speakers is quite easy. If you don't have native speakers around you, you can, again, just go on the internet and search the language and just listen to the people speaking that language. You don't have to interact with it at all. You just soak up the language and you learn with experience. Inability to concentrate, ADHD symptoms. That's why learn slowly. Now, even I have to admit that I sometimes get distracted, but you really have to block it out when you're focused on your studying. I myself, as somebody who is into social media and who posts on all the platforms, I find myself scrolling sometimes, and you just have to tell yourself to stop. Give yourself a task. You're going to study, or you're going to practice, or you're going to speak. Just do that and turn off all the distractions. Believe me, with time, you'll get there. Classes versus reality slang. Now, yes, with language classes, you will learn the more formal version of the language, and that's not always often spoken. But I suggest you keep going with it, and you learn the formal spoken language to at least an intermediate level, to about B1, B2, and then you can start watching things in that language, which will have more slang in it, and you'll pick up the slang slowly. And then you start speaking to native speakers, you hear slang language, and you'll just pick it up. To free up time for learning consistently. As with anything in life, if you want to do it, you will find time for it. People who say they don't have time to learn languages simply don't want to learn languages, or they're forcing themselves to do it. If you want to do it, you will find an hour a day to study the language. Believe me, we have so much time in our day that we waste doing nothing. Cut out some of that. Give yourself just 1 hour a day. That's 7 hours a week, and just focus on the language. And if you can afford it, do the class, because that will give you amazing structure. And when you don't have a class on a day, just give yourself a period. It can just be 20, 30 minutes with your textbook or with the words that you've written out, and just repeat them. Believe me, you will learn very quickly. Which language to learn and stick to when I'm interested in like 50? Yes, I can totally relate to this point. I myself am learning 4 languages at once. But what I suggest that you do is to pick the language that you like the most. It doesn't have to be logical. Just close your eyes and think about the one you're really passionate about and go with it. It doesn't have to be logical. It can be a language that's barely spoken by anybody. But if you like it and you're passionate about it, you will learn it so much quicker. So just pick that one language that you really have a feeling for and go with it. Run with it. Do the classes for 3-4 months and see how you progress. And if you want to change to another language, you always can. Understanding the locals. As I said before, don't stress about it. The fact you're talking to locals is a huge success in and of itself. Just go up to local people, interact with them, talk to them. You don't have to fear not understanding everything. Of course you won't. Even I don't understand everything in many of the languages I speak. And when it comes to speaking, don't fear judgment. I'm very sure that these people will not be judging you for speaking their language. And even if they are, who cares? As I've said, look at me. I'm on the internet speaking different languages all the time. I have lots of people who tell me I speak them badly, or I make mistakes, or that I'm not really speaking them, I'm faking it, I'm an AI or anything. And it doesn't faze me at all. It doesn't stress me out at all. And you should be exactly the same. Just go into it, speak to the people, and I'm sure they'll be really friendly. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Oh, wait, we have one more question from Stormshade. Well, sorry, I can't really help you with that one. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my page and give this video a like and write a comment. It really helps me out as I'm growing this page. And any feedback you have, I really appreciate it.